Please note these are in random order. In this video, I will be looking at the top 10 weakest wrestlers in WWE history. Adam Rose. His success in WWE was against the weaker wrestlers like Damien Sandow and Fandango. In spite of altering his gimmick several times, Rose was unable to solidify his presence in WWE in 2016. Rose was released following his arrests, and it would not be a crime to say he was not missed very much. Although, Rose has transformed greatly, gaining a whopping 80 pounds and looks nothing like before. Eva Marie. The redhead of WWE was rarely seen in ring, actually wrestling. Eva returned to the main roster of Raw to help her co-stars from Total Divas from an attack as a face. However, after a hiatus for months, she returned as a heel, making the WWE Universe wait months for her in-ring debut. She kept faking several reasons to avoid to wrestle. She was released shortly after. Given her weak personality and little to almost none experience in ring, she is considered as one of the weakest wrestlers in the women's department. Trent Beretta. Seen usually in Superstars, a WWE edition for lowest level wrestlers, Trent Beretta was deemed too weak to ever climb higher. Beretta was used as an enhancement talent, who would be used as a stepping stone for young wrestlers having only a handful of matches and losing most of them. Beretta was never going to see limelight in this business. He feuded with Tyson Kidd only to lose 5 consecutive matches. He was released soon after. Heath Slater. The only member of 3 Megabytes who remained right where he had started, fate was not kind to Heath Slater. Reduced to a jobber status, Slater faced a series of squash matches on the road to Raw 1000. He was badly humiliated in almost all of those, almost little to no credibility in singles performance. Slater enjoyed the only highlight of his shabby career as tag champion with Rhino. There is not much for Slater in future unless he can revamp his skills and come back much stronger. Gillberg. In the absence of the legend Goldberg, WWE introduced a mock version of the Jackhammer Man, Gillberg. Used plainly as a humor content, Gillberg would mock everything from Goldberg's music to gear and entry. The only difference was, Gillberg was not even half as strong as who he mocked. His weak and severely unimpressive performance amplified his longest reign as the light heavyweight champion of all time. Lana. The ravishing Russian was seen by the side of the Bulgarian brute, Rusev, ever since they debuted in the main roster in 2014. Lana would shout encouraging words as her Bulgarian would crush his opponents. However, that is where Lana's activities ended. The real-life spouse of Rusev, Lana was seldom seen in ring wrestling. She would sneak out at the first opportunity she had and avoid wrestling. And all it goes without saying, Lana was an impressive ringside presence, but beyond that, a fumble. Kurt Hawkins. The fact that Kurt Hawkins was made to face was that he was on the largest streak of losing WWE had witnessed in modern era. With consecutive 100 losses, Hawkins was a figure only worthy of sympathy. However, that did not refute his streak, as he proceeded to lose 269 matches, the biggest streak of losing ever. Almost zero in-ring charisma and minimal talent had garnered him a spot among the weakest wrestlers. Santino Marella. Cobra, the strongest weapon in the otherwise haggard arsenal of Santino Marella, had helped him garner titles and a bit of fame. The pump action hand gesture made to look like a snake was a terrifying finisher. Many jobbers fell prey to. This was the single most successful tool that helped Marella win several championships, including the IC title and the US title. Other than that, he was an odd fellow, known mostly for his shenanigans in ring to lighten the mood. He was used against the women to help them go over, given his position among the weakest wrestlers. Later on, he was completely removed from television. Hornswoggle. Standing at only 4 feet 5, the success of sports entertainment was beyond the grasp of Hornswoggle. Lacking any sort of actual strength and absolutely unable to compete with other wrestlers, his status was dwarfed into slow oblivion. Although he had partners like Finlay and the Great Khali, Hornswoggle was not really capable of actual wrestling. A vessel of dark humor, Hornswoggle was also portrayed as the illegitimate child of Vince McMahon, the tiny explosive, large boom gimmick overused. It was evident the company had no more use for him. Arguably number one among weakest wrestlers, he was released soon after. And the weakest wrestler in WWE history is James Ellsworth. Easily the weakest performer WWE has seen in years, James Ellsworth was a pedestal to be stepped on. His weak stature and complete lack of strength earned him a sympathetic reaction before he turned heel. Considered too weak for men's division, he was removed to women's department. Even there, he was just a manager, and whichever intergender match he did participate in, he was largely dominated. Understanding he was not helping the company in any way, one of the weakest wrestlers ever was soon released. Remember to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you get notified anytime I make a video.